Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, let's go over the market, and let's figure out what is happening today and what we can expect moving forward for, I guess really into next weekend, maybe even the rest of the month. So with all that being said and done, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. The link is below in the description of the video for $3 a month. You get access to my intraday thoughts and updates to Tesla stock, Tesla chart, and all that stuff pretty much live as the trading day is occurring. So all that being said, jumping into it. So the market is closing in about 2 hours. I am recording this early. I do have something coming up, but nonetheless, I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot happening, right? In all honesty, I really don't think anything's gonna happen for the last 2 hours. I think for the most part, we'll be closing pretty much right around this 242-ish level, which will be pretty much flat-ish on the day. And the market itself, SPY QQQ, also pretty much flat, like not a lot of movement today. Now, with that being said, I do think that next week is going to be the big week. I really do think, like, I'd be pretty surprised if next week, sometime next week, I don't know when, could be early, could be mid, could be even late next week, like Friday even. But I do expect next week to be the week where we finally break out of this consolidation. Because like I said, we're getting tighter and tighter and tighter, right? You know, we have, of course, the potential rising triangle, if you will, right? We have the potential head and shoulders, the bearish head and shoulders here, right? We have, so the bottom of the channel, the blue line, right? It's getting tighter to the top of this bull flag, which we're constantly getting rejected at. And the tighter that gets, eventually it's going to have to pick a direction, right? One of these will have to crack. That's just kind of how it goes. And I really don't think it'll take longer than like December 15th. Maybe it'll take up to like the 18th, which is the following Monday after next week. But like, I'd be surprised if it doesn't happen sometime next week. I really would be. And that's kind of pretty much the way I'm looking at it right now, right? Like we've been talking about this for a while. We've been discussing this consolidation pattern for quite some time. And really, we're just still consolidating. We've been consolidating for like 17 or something like that trading days in a row. So, you know, it is something to consider. Now, I will say something in advance, I guess, here, because I am recording a little bit early than usual. But if Tesla does close above this 100-day moving average, right, which is about pretty much 243, really. If we close above 243, not bad. The bulls, in my opinion, are giving themselves a bit of a head start, if that makes sense, going into next week, to hopefully play out to the bullish side, right? To break out, to go above this green line, which is the top of the bull flag, if you will, right? Which is about 246.5-ish, and especially the top of this massive bull flag that we're also in, which is pretty much, you can see, almost coinciding pretty much exactly to the smaller bull flag, the green one that we're in as well. You can see they're getting very, very close to each other. So, you know, take that into consideration, right? They're gonna pretty much, let me go ahead and unlock this. They're pretty much gonna be playing out together, like simultaneously, because they're just getting so close, because it's taking so long. Is it this one I'm supposed to drag? Yeah, it's this one. We go ahead and we drag this out a little bit like this, something like that, give or take, right? Boom, beautiful. Let's go ahead and lock this back up, because it's taking a lot longer to, I'm not gonna lie, this consolidation is lasting long. I still remember back when we went up into this initial range after this initial, you know, massive move up, I said that I wouldn't be surprised if we get some consolidation here. I don't think it'll be this long, but you know, whatever. Sometimes that's how the market is. Selling options, the people who have been selling options during this consolidation are doing well for themselves, right? So the easiest way to look at it is this. If, let me go ahead and quickly use it. I actually told my members this already. Let me go ahead and just make sure I'm going to pretty much reiterate what I told them. So the bulls, what do the bulls want to see moving forward? They want to break and close above the 100-day moving average, which is, again, around that 243-ish level, which we're ever so slightly above right now. That's step number one. Step number two, ultimately, is they want to break up above the high 240s, even maybe the low 250s to make it extra safe. Because that's what really breaks out of this double bull flag, if you will, situation that we find ourselves in right here, right now. So that's going to be pretty important to understand, right? That's going to be the level that the bulls want to break. If we do break that, if the bulls happen to break out of that, I really wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, it genuinely wouldn't be surprise me if we move up fairly even quickly to about 270-ish, of course, right? Because again, if we zoom out extra, right, you can see, right, of course, we have this red line here, which is the ultimate resistance point, right? Don't forget, right? This is all the way sitting up pretty much like 260s right now, right? Give or take. So, you know, that's going to be the level that I'd be really watching for, like 260s, maybe even breaching barely into 270s, because that is going to be the final boss, if you will, to defeat, to really break out of this, you know, massive downtrend that we've been in since all-time highs. That's like the final thing. I'll have to reevaluate the red line later, but we'll do that if we actually get there and we actually break out to the upside. But general sense, 260s, 270s, something like that is my rough price target if we do break out to the north side. So that's what the bulls want to see. But again, like I always say, two things that's important here. First of all, not only do you want to break out of it, like, you know, break those levels, but you want to not only you want to hold and close and hold. It's really important that we close candles above the levels and then we hold those levels as well, and we don't just collapse back down like the following day, for instance. Very important. Also, keep in mind, don't forget that the longer you do these consolidations, so you have a massive run up, you have consolidations, right? Consolidations are the same as a correction. Corrections can be either a correction to the downside, right, of course, or a correction sideways, where you just pretty much go sideways and do nothing for X amount of time. That's obviously pretty much what we're doing here. We're correcting sideways, which is perfectly fine. But keep in mind, the longer you have these consolidations, the longer you have these like times, you know, where you're really not doing anything, the stock is just going sideways. It's that whole time it is building up momentum, and then once it eventually picks a direction, it should be a pretty explosive move in that direction. So that's for the bulls. The bears, what do they want to see? The bears ultimately, first and foremost, want to break below 240, right? First and foremost, 240. That's kind of what we defended today. You can see the candle here, right? First and foremost, 240, step number one. That's like, the bears shouldn't even be talking about a bearish thesis until 240 is until Tesla's below 240. Then you can really start thinking about it, especially right now, considering we're getting tighter and tighter and the bottom of this channel is getting closer and closer. That's step number one. Number two, you want to fall below the 21 EMA, which is sitting around 236, and of course the bottom of this channel, which is also, if that happens, let's say sometime early next week, also around 236. So that's going to be important for the bears to break down below and the bulls to defend. Once, or if rather it does break down below, the bears are starting to give themselves a nice shot at actually bringing Tesla back down to the very low 200s roughly, right? And what they'd want to do next is continue the downtrend by breaking below 230. 230 is probably the most important level. Breaking below the channel is already like not great for the bulls, right? That's not great. It really isn't. But like the nail in the coffin to me that makes me think, okay, the bears to control, it's pretty much like nearly guaranteed at this point, is breaking below this green bottom line, which is the bottom of this bull flag, which is also essentially 230, which is a massive support, which is a very important area not to close and hold a candle or candles, daily candles below, because we haven't done that yet since this consolidation. We got very close here, but we didn't. And essentially doing that will be really bad. That's the level that I really don't want to see, because on top of everything else, this also plays out the head and shoulders pattern. If we start closing candles, you know, pretty much below 230, the very, 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 very low 230s, the head and shoulders pattern, the bearish one here, also is potentially playing out as well. So it's getting, that's going to be like probably the most crucial level for the bears to break, right? Like the super duper low 230s, right? That's going to be the level I'll be paying attention to the most. But that's the main thing I'm looking at. Let's take a quick look at the weekly. The weekly is still looking great. We're probably closing somewhere around this 243 level in about 2 hours, right? But the weekly candle's looking great. We're showing strength. We're not showing a long wick like before. We're closing constantly higher every single week. We're closing above the 50-day moving average, the 200-day moving average. We're closing above the 21 EMA, the 100-day, right? We're closing above all of these averages on the weekly, and we're really close to breaking out of this bull flag. You can see on the weekly as well. Let me remove this one for now. So actually, no, I won't, because I won't talk about that. So it's looking good. My point is that it's looking good. Now, with that being said, the thing that I can see happening that would probably be the most confusing, most difficult, and probably the one that traps the most people would be this. Don't forget how we talked about way before, back when we were still in this rising channel, how this can still be a massive bear flag. And that's still technically a possibility. So take this, for instance. This would be like the ultimate like play by the market makers, if you will, that just really just like screws as many people as possible. We break out. We do break out. We break out of this little bull flag. Cool. All we do though is we come up to retest the overall downtrend with the red line from all-time highs, but we never really truly retested the breakdown from this massive bear flag that we potentially were in, right? Seemingly at least. So that also coincides somewhere around the very like 260s to potentially even 270s, as you can see right here. So that will be like the ultimate play where we break out, we go up here, ends up being a massive bull trap. All falls break out as well. We reject and we collapse, and all this ended up being was a dead cat bounce just to retest the breakdown from this bear flag, and we continue lower and potentially even enter the 100s again. That to me would be the most like the ultimate play by the market makers, the ultimate way to trap as many people as possible. But of course, that's also a massive if, because if we do come up here to this like 260s, 270s-ish level and we break out of this descending red line from all-time highs, then that thesis is thrown out the window, at least the way I look at it. So if we break out, we're going to be entering some extremely like unbelievably crucial moments for Tesla stock where it's going to really come down to the wire. So we're in for a pretty fun ride, in my opinion, for the rest of December, especially if we break out to the upside. So buckle up. It should be a pretty interesting ride, but that's essentially what I am seeing right now. So let me know what you think down below. I just hit my leg. But thank you all so much for watching. And as usual, I will see you on Monday. Peace.